I've seen so many marriages that look like they have lost their spark. I've seen so many husbands and wives living like roommates and not lovers. It feels like, what went wrong? At what point did they miss it? At what point did they lose that love, in quote? And, you ask yourself questions. Is this how marriage is going to be some 10, 25 years down the line? And, you realize that it seems like there's no love. These people are just living like roommates. And that is why today I'm going to be talking about how to keep your fire burning in your marriage, how to keep the fire burning in your marriage, how to keep that love in your marriage, how to keep the intimacy, what you guys felt at the very first time that made you believe or to think that you would rather be with no one else than your spouse, and decided to do this marriage thing together. So today we're going to be talking about how to keep the fire burning in your marriage. And as you know, my name is bookoluwatosinsanusi, and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. So one of the very first things that you need to do to keep the fire burning in your marriage is to be flexible. Be spontaneous. Don't be rigid. A lot of our parents' marriages, they have some routine ways of doing some things, and when it does not go that way, they are not ready to bend, right, or adjust. And a lot of us have also picked up that trait. For example, I picked up some very rigid traits, and I had to learn to adjust, right, with the help of the Holy Spirit. Of course, I had to learn, to adjust. And also my husband pointing out some things to me that looked normal, because they looked normal because I had seen them like over time, and it just did not look wrong, or not necessarily wrong, it just did not look out of place, but it was going to be out of place in my marriage. And I had to learn to adjust to those things. It could be anything, so many things, but so in fact, most of us have just, there are just some things that you do some certain type of way, and you're not ready to change that way or even adjust it. So it's important to learn to be flexible, be spontaneous in your marriage, to keep the fire burning. Just do some unexpected good things. I need to say that. Just do some unexpected good things, things that your spouse is not expecting. And that's what we call surprises, right? So give pleasant surprises, to your partner, to your spouse, things like they will not even imagine that you do that thing for them. Do it. These are the things that go a long way for us. These are the things that means a lot to us, as individuals. When someone does something out of the blues for you, and you're like, oh wow, are you serious? Thank you so much. That really means a lot. Trust me, you have filled their love tank. And also, it's important to know that, make sure that what you're going to do sometimes is also tailored to how they perceive love. It's also tailored to how they understand that you're speaking love to them. So as you're being spontaneous, as you're being flexible, as you're adjusting, it's important to also put your partner's love language in mind. Although I really believe that love is beyond love languages, but yes, love languages are also very, very, very important, right? So it's important that you take note of that while you're being flexible and spontaneous. The next thing that I'll say, very related to this, is to speak your partner's love language. Very, very important, right? So I was discussing with a couple, some months back, and I started an example for them, and I was like, imagine that you meet a Portuguese man, and you really need to communicate with him. Okay, so let's assume that this Portuguese man does not understand English and cannot speak English, right? And then you need to communicate something very, very important to him. And they are just telling him you're speaking all the right words, you're speaking in English, and he's just looking at you because you are not speaking to him in a language that he understands, right? So you will talk from today to tomorrow and he will not get you because you are not speaking in the language that you understand. So in that kind of situation, is either you learn Portuguese or you get an interpreter. But in the case of marriage, you need to learn to speak your partner's love language. You don't want to get an interpreter, right? A middleman. So it's important that you learn to speak your partner's love language. So if your partner really likes to receive gifts, you need to put that in mind. If your partner loves acts of services, you need to put that in mind. And even if it's something that you readily not do, but because you're married to this person, you love them, you want to make sacrifices for them. So if it means you leaving your comfort zone, then who else should you leave your comfort zone for if not your spouse? So it's important to speak your partner's love language, even when communicating important things with them. When you want to let them know that you love them, it's important that you speak their love language. Very, very important. So if you do not know your partner's love language today, please do good to ask them. There are so many tests online that you can take to know your partner's love language. And for the sake of people that do not know it, I'll mention the 5 love languages that we have. The first one is receiving gifts, in no particular order anyway. 1, receiving gifts. 2, acts of service. 3, words of affirmation. 4, quality time. And then 5, physical touch. So those 5 love languages, it's important to know which one your spouse speaks or understands, and which one you also speak and understand, so that you can both communicate, and then you can both keep it in mind when you're planning surprises, and when you're planning all the amazing things you want to do with your spouse. Have it in mind, so that it will not be like someone that is pouring water inside baskets. So that the things that you do will mean a lot and go a long way to the other person. Now the third thing I'll be saying is to do the little things that matter. So many little things, right? Your spouse, there's some little things that won't cost you anything, won't remove an inch from you, it won't even add to you. It will even add, in fact, it will add to you rather, because your spouse is going to love you more. Right? But it won't take anything from you. Maybe stress, but what I'm just trying to say is, do the little things, the little things that look so minute but would mean a lot to your spouse. So say you go out and on your way back you will see something on the road that your spouse is going to like, oh babe, I got this for you. I saw it and I just thought about you. I thought you were going to like it and I got one for you. It looks like a really small, insignificant thing, but you'll be surprised how lightened your partner is going to be when they see that thing. Like, oh, are you serious? Thank you very much. Even if you try to do shakara for you, trust me, it means a lot to us. So they would always remember that thing, and there would always be a sentimental value, for that thing. You see that they are going to hold it dear to their hearts, right? So maybe you depends on what your partner likes. So maybe you make a customized key holder for yourself that has her face in it, or is facing it. It could be anything, right? It could be anything, but there are just some little things. Look around you. So for example, one little thing that we do in my own house is we write lots of nice things in sticky notes and we paste it around the house, right? So I could be walking to the kitchen. Hi darling. So I could be walking to the kitchen and I'll just see I love you note on the kitchen door, and then it will make me smile. So imagine I was having a stressful day and then walking to the kitchen and I see that he's not telling me that physically, but I'm seeing a note that he wrote, and automatically that's going to lighten up my day, right? So little sticky notes like that, we write it around the house and we paste it in different places. So if you go to my house, you probably would have, if you've been to my house before, you probably would have seen some of those notes around. So that's one of the little things that we do in the house. One of our little things. The only thing it costs is sticky notes and biro. Right? So it's not like it's anything expensive, it's not stressful. Okay, I get you, boo. It's not stressful or anything, but it means a lot. So little things like that, you can, study your, just, check sticky notes. It works wonders. Try it. It works wonders. Buying gifts, little things, buying them, it works wonders also. Sometimes just listen to some indirect things that your partner is telling you. Sometimes it goes a long way. For them, buying something they like on their way home, for them it goes a long way. So just try to study your partner, and in the little things that they say, try to pick at that moment what would mean a lot to them, right? So maybe, for example, your wife is saying, I don't have what to wear for this event or something, and if you are at that moment really boxed up, there's nothing wrong with ordering a dress for her, or just getting her something. She's not expecting it, and then you come back with a new dress, a nice dress. Of course, now, now she's really going to appreciate it, right? So just be on the lookout for clues. Your partner drops clues for you here and there, be it a man or a woman. We drop clues, subconsciously, we drop clues. So watch out, and then respond to those clues as much as you can. It goes a long way. And finally, I'll say, do the things that you used to do before you got married. I know if I ask so many married people now, if you ask them, like, do you still do the things you used to do before you got married, a lot of the answers will be no, or not really. Now I understand that children come into the picture, some things just become cumbersome. Now you have bills you're paying, now you have parents to give money, blah blah blah, so many things knocking on your door and on your finances, right? But you need to be intentional to still do some of these things. So some people used to go to the movies before they got married. Some people used to go out a lot, go for dates. When last did you go on a date? You. When last did you go on a date with your spouse? It doesn't have to be like paparazzi date, but when last did you have that feeling of, I'm going out with my husband, or I'm going out with my wife, kind of feeling. You can go on a date and you can go and eat correct, nice amala, right? So it doesn't have to be anything too expensive, right? When last did you go on a drive date? When last did you go to the movies? It doesn't have to be anything too expensive. And of course, you can afford it. Take your wife on a classy date, please. Take your husband on a classy, nice, date, right? So it's important that you put those things, in your mind. Do the little things that you guys used to do before you got married, the way you guys would use before you got married. Why have you stopped? So be intentional. I know that so many things come and distract us, and if we are not intentional, we're not going to do those things. That's the truth. So this video is to get you to be intentional to do those things. Sorry, darling. It's to get you to be intentional to do those things that you used to do before you got married. Those things that made you feel like, this is the person that will marry. It's important that you go back to doing those things, the way you used to communicate, the way you used to trust each other, the way you used to get each other gifts, the way you used to help each other do things. Don't just stop because now you've married the man, or you have married the woman, and then you stop doing those things. Don't do that. Keep investing in your love. Keep filling your partner's love tank, right? Keep showing them that you love them. It's not too much. It's never too much. So keep doing that. Trust me. See, I understand. I might not understand everything, but I understand to an extent that so many things come and distract us. Life gets more complicated, in quotes, because so many things come into the picture. But if you're not intentional about the way you live your life, you just live life by default. Whatever life throws your way, you just take it. But when you're intentional, like, regardless, we must do these things because we're married. We're not just roommates, or we're not just life partners. Like, we're doing life together. Let's make it fun. Let's do fun things together. As much as we're doing the serious part, raising children, blah blah blah, let's also do fun things together. Yes, you're finding purpose, you're doing God's will. Also do fun things together within God's will, right? God's will is not boring, in quotes. You still have fun with your partner, companionship. You guys are supposed to be each other's playmates, purpose mates, everything mates, right? So make sure that you don't leave the fun part out of it, because life can get serious. So it's important to have fun also, and distress. not like distress, but like reduce your stress kind of distress, So I hope that with these 4 things you'll be able to lighting the fire in your marriages, and then you start crushing on that person, or is crushing the word, you just start the feelings will be reawakened, and you just start having that feeling that you had before you got married, that excitement, that spark, that feeling that just feels like your chest wants to burst with love. So yes, when you do these things, I'm sure that they will go a long way. And if you feel like you've forgotten some things you used to do, speak with your partner, like, babe, what are things that we even used to do before we got married that were fun, or that made us always enjoyed ourselves, and hear what they have to say and work on those things. For example, now I'm looking forward to when I'll go back to the cinema to watch movies. It's been a while my husband and I did that because of our son, but as soon as he can stay in the cinema and it will not affect his ears, we move. Right? So I am really looking forward to it, and I've been saying it so that he gets the clue, and he definitely gets the clue. But as much as we can, we do movie nights in the house just to fill in that part before we can go to the cinemas again. Sorry, love. So I hope that I pray that with these things, and yes, of course, pray also. I'm intentional about doing these things and more as the Holy Spirit leads in your heart, and as you speak with your partner. And I pray that your marriage would not lose its fire. That love that is burning, that is doing people gish, you will not lose it in Jesus' name. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please drop your comments, your feedback. Please share, please comment. I've said that before. Please subscribe. Thank you.